Good day, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we're going to talk about protocols and the four-layer model. For your exam, you'll need to know what is meant by the term protocol, and you'll need to be able to describe the layers of the four-layer model. You'll also need to be able to describe common protocols and which layer they belong, but we'll cover that in the next video. So let's start with what is a protocol. So a protocol is just a set of rules that two parties agree on so that they can understand how things communicate. We have protocols every day. So for instance, if I say to somebody good morning and they reply good evening, well, that's kind of confusing, right? Because the answer to good morning is probably going to be good morning. So the protocol there would be when I say good morning, they say good morning. Or if I say good evening, they say good evening. Those rules that define what an unconfusing answer is called a protocol. Now, in computing, we use protocols between devices to ensure that the signals that we send and receive are what we expect and what the other party are expecting as well. In computing, we use protocols to allow us to send and receive signals and to make sure that the other devices understand what it is we're trying to send and receive. You have to think that basically the signals that we send down the wire are ones and zeros. So for our devices to be able to communicate, they have to understand what those ones and zeros mean. And that's defined in the protocol. We use something called a four-layer model when we are using our standard internet applications. Okay, so now that we understand what a protocol is, let's talk about the most common set of protocols, the four-layer model. When we're using our internet applications, then our data is passing through at least 4 different layers of protocols. It passes through the application layer, the transport layer, the network layer, and the link layer. Now, the application layer, this is where we have things like web servers, email, VoIP. And this is where the software services that we use, they exist in the application level. The next level down is called the transport level, and this is where we have protocols like the TCP and UDP. And these protocols really describe how two devices can talk to each other. So how do they hold open communication channels? How do they guarantee that data sent is the same as the data being received? How do they maintain conversations? All of those rules are defined in the TCP, UDP protocols. The next layer down is called the network layer. And this is where you might find the IP protocol. And the IP protocol is concerned with addressing and getting data from start to finish. So how do I physically get my data from my device to the device that's on the other end of a WAN, for instance? And then finally, we have the link layer. And this is concerned with how do I get my data from one link to the next link? Okay, so this has been a brief overview of the four-layer model. In our next video, we'll dive into a little bit more about the protocols that we're going to find and which layer each protocol exists in. Till then, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.